So let's talk about something that maybe you wouldn't have anticipated I'd bring up on this channel given my previous content. But this came up in conversation recently, and I think it's a point worth talking about and addressing with others, because I'm sure you've maybe had some thoughts. Basically, it's this. What's the difference between more of a yogic spiritual work and magic, specifically white magic, where you're trying to do good in the universe? They're both dealing with mysticism, they're both dealing with spirits and connecting with something beyond yourself, and that's all true. But there is one huge thing that separates the more traditional occult from the more Eastern esoteric practices that I offer, and it's this. So it's a pleasure to know you. I'm Kay. I'm an ecstatic life coach and author of the book Journey to the Ecstatic Self. The practice of magic is an ancient spiritual tradition that has been around for a very, very long time. And in many ways, there are traditions in India and Tibet and yogic practices that are basically no different from the practices of Western occultism. Like, you can go find ancient tantric texts that involve recipes for manifesting changes you need, from weather to getting your lover back to saving your cow. Like, it was a very practical modality for improving your life. But as you reach the higher levels of yoga tantra or yogic mysticism overall, you start to realize that there is a profound shift that happens, and it's a profound shift to deep acceptance. There is a Sanskrit term for it called santosha, and it's this idea that no matter what happens, you are at peace. As we evolve on our spiritual path, we should reach a point where we start to see the inherent perfection in the way things are. Yes, including the suffering, yes, including the disappointment, yes, including the pain and the ill health and all of that shit. We start to see that souls, whether the soul of a person or a plant or an animal or the planet as a whole, is going through experiences that it asked for whatever reason, for the joy of it, for the experience of it, for past actions, and that there is a divine resonance for why things are happening the way they are, and that we achieve this state of santosha, we achieve this state of surrender to say things are what they are and I don't need to mess with it. If you watched my recent video on what is karma, I talk a little bit more of this state of non-willfulness, this state of non-doership. Now, people who practice magic will tell you that whatever vibration you send out there, it will come back at you intensely, especially negative vibes, dark magic, that will come back at you sevenfold. So you have to be very restrictive about how you send out that negative energy. But whether you're sending out positive energy or negative energy, it's still generating karma. It's still generating the bonds that keep us locked in these limited sense of self, these limited sense of mind. And so willfulness becomes the work of the yogic practitioner. It's not to say we still don't live and make choices, but we enter a state of repose. We enter a state of deep acceptance and listening. And when the universe asks us to engage or asks us to do something, we do it. But we come from a place of do-nothingness, of want-nothingness. My little spirit guide inside sometimes likes to call me he who wants nothing, which is as high of a praise, high of a demarcation as I could imagine. Better than like sultan or czar or master. It's like he who wants nothing. Yes, that's the goal, to enter a state of true surrender. And that, my friends, is the big difference between magic and advanced yoga sadhana, advanced yoga practice. Is in magic, we might still be doing good for the world, but it's coming from a place of will. Versus yoga, you can find mantras, you can find spells, you can find things that you are using to change the world, but your willfulness should be very limited. You come from a place of surrender rather than a place of manipulation. So anyhow, that was my thoughts on the topic. I don't know if that's interesting to you, but I thought it was something worth sharing. Namaste.